All right. We are live. It's Sloppy Sundays, my weekly, unscripted, low production value, complaining rant stream about anything and everything that bothers me, and also an update on my unsuccessful career in stand up comedy. Anyone who's watching, I see we already have a couple people watching, and thank you for tuning in. And I am tonight. Sorry, got distracted for a second there. Yeah. So what's been going on? Tonight's stream is a topic that's very personal to me, and that's about how foodie culture is destroying this nation, and it must be stopped. But before we get to foodie culture and the abomination that it is, just wanted to recap a couple things. One of those is complaining about my mother. And so anyone who's been following Sloppy Sundays knows that I complain about my mother a lot. And I complain about my mother a lot because I inherited that trait from my mother, who complains nonstop. My mother can invent new ways of complaining. She sort of can break down the fourth wall of complaining. She's really made complaining TED Talk worthy. I don't know. It seems like TED Talks have kind of faded into the past. They don't really seem that relevant anymore. But if Ted, whoever, Ted is, was like, you know what, I think it would be great to have someone give a dissertation on just constant complaining and just complaining about anything. First person they could reach out to is my mother. Just someone who can find anything to complain about and then can complain about not having something to complain about. It's really fascinating. And I started thinking about this too this week because, the holiday season is approaching. And this is the time when people begin to decorate their homes for Hanukkah, for Christmas, whatever holiday you celebrate. And for most people, it's a pleasurable experience. Like, oh, this is fun. Let's hang bushes. Let's hang lights on the bushes. Let's put a wreath on the door. Something like that. For most families, that's what it's like. You know what? And for my family being around my mother, it's amazing how she could complain about things like that. Uh, I remember one year, I distinctly remember one year when I put Christmas lights on the bushes, and she complained that I didn't put the lights on the bushes the right way. That there apparently there's a more stealth method of putting Christmas lights on bushes that I wasn't aware of, but my mother found a way to complain about how I put the Christmas lights on the bushes. Something like that. You could hang the wreath on the door, and oh, it's fun, it's joyous. Anyone who comes over to visit, they're like, oh, look at that. No, she can find something to complain about, that it's not really centered properly, or it's you need to rotate it a little bit. It's just not right. Yeah, so more to come about that. I have a few decorations that I'm going to be hanging around my place soon, and every year I just get flashbacks of, I didn't hang the lights the right way on the bushes. There's a better way to hang the lights. But I also come from the type of family too where when I was younger, there were plenty of years when the lights stayed on the bushes year round. We were that family where the bushes, had the Christmas lights on them all throughout the year, in January, July, August, also dead grass all around out, in the yard, things like that. So yeah, it's fascinating how someone can pick and choose what you complain about. But yeah, Just something that I thought that's been on my mind this week. Uh, Another thing, I did some stand up this week, and I pulled out a joke. That's one of the first jokes I ever wrote. It's a really old joke. It's about trick or treating and stealing. Because last week's stream was about how Halloween just isn't like what it used to be, which is a fact. Halloween nowadays is just lame compared to how it used to be back in the day. And one of the first jokes that I wrote when I started doing stand up, like a real joke that I wrote, was about stealing kids' candy. And I dusted that one off and did it on stage this week. And it was a little, yeah, I don't know. Some people liked it, some didn't. That's just how stand up works. I recorded the audio though. So I think what I'm going to do is I have a lot of audio of stand up that I've been doing recently. So I'm going to post some audio clips online. And if you want to listen to it, fine. If not, whatever. But yeah, just short, like 30-second, 1 minute clips of a joke, something like that. And yeah. And anyways, yeah, tonight's topic about foodie culture destroying this nation. Tonight is the first night of a multi-part series of talking about how foodie culture is trying to reinvent the wheel. Foodie culture, it needs to be stopped, and it's gone completely overboard. In the way that they foodie culture tries to market food, they try to market the dining experience and just the simplest pleasures. Somehow we need to redo it because we've been doing it wrong this entire time. One of those is, one of the big things that stands out, and I consider foodie culture, the whole health food movement, all one of the same, really, because that's really what they are. And one of those is kale. Even the intro to tonight's stream: is your kale organic? Is it fair trade, locally sourced, hydroponically grown, and blessed by a deity from the highest peak of the holiest of mountains? That's pretty much like how foodie culture views the experience, or how they want to sell you the experience of dining. And kale, I remember when the whole kale phenom sort of started, probably about 15 years ago. And kale is awful. Kale isn't meant to be. Kale was there's a reason why nobody ate kale until 15 years ago, and that's because kale sucks. Nobody likes kale, and the people who claim to like kale are lying to themselves. And nowadays you see things like a kale smoothie, kale crackers, kale. I've seen Polish sausage. I mean, this is Chicago that I'm in. I've seen Polish sausage with kale in it. And I mean, that's just blasphemy to Polish sausage culture in Chicago, the land of Polish sausages, where people will eat Polish sausage, and then for dessert they'll have another Polish sausage. I have seen Polish sausage with kale in it because the people at the Polish sausage factory, they're like, well, kale's this big thing right now and people are making money. What do we do? I don't know. Let's put some kale in it, I guess. I don't know. And that's how you end up with Polish sausage that with kale in it. Nobody likes kale. Not at all. What would the sausage makers of yesteryear think if they knew that Polish sausage had kale in it nowadays? First thing they would ask themselves is, what is kale? Exactly. What is kale? And it's kale. Kale, it's like a garnish. Kale shouldn't be thought of as food. It's more like a garnish, like mustard greens. Who eats mustard greens? It's something that if you were at a banquet and they bring out this big thing and then they need to decorate it with something, that's where kale would be sort of like the garnish, just for presentation. Kale's not. No, it's anybody who pretends to like kale is lying to themselves, and they're just trying to fit into that whole like yoga pants, um, whatever sort of persona that's big nowadays. Um, yeah, what's that exercise thing that they do? Yeah, it's clear just from looking. It's obvious from looking at me that I don't really know much about kale, but yeah, that low carb diet. I don't know, keto, whatever, something like that. Kale is just terrible. It really is. There's nobody who's like, oh, you know what'd be great to have some kale like how mom used to make it. No, yeah. Yeah, you've never heard anyone say that before. Oh, you know, it'd be wonderful. Oh, I just the way kale, the a kale casserole, like what Grandma used to make. I remember growing up, and Grandma would make a kale casserole that just can't stop thinking about it. Every time I go over to Grandma's house, I just ask her, please make us that kale casserole. No one's ever said that because kale is awful. It's garbage, absolute garbage. But the way that foodie culture has contaminated our basic pleasures, and a perfect example of that is the cheeseburger. You can't go that more and more, it's becoming difficult to go out for a cheeseburger and just get a cheeseburger. Foodie culture needed to reinvent the wheel and overcomplicate what it means to eat a cheeseburger. When you go out for a cheeseburger, one thing that I've found fascinating is apparently the toppings all go on the bottom of the burger now. I this started maybe within the past 10, 15 years, when the whole foodie culture thing really started to kick off, when the cheese shop opens up in your neighborhood and now your rent goes up $300 a month. Uh, that's what at some point they're telling us, man has been eating burgers since for hundreds of years. There's documented history of people eating a burger, and how it started in the 16th century of a hamburger, and then at some point people started to think, oh, you know what we should do? We should put cheese on this hamburger, and then it was called like a hamburger with cheese and all that. And then a cheeseburger then it became something more where you put condiments on it, like toppings, and the toppings that are tried and true: tomato, lettuce, onion, pickles, ketchup, mustard, with American cheese. That's what a cheeseburger is. And people are now telling us, oh no, you've been doing it wrong this entire time. How many times have you gone out for a burger and now suddenly the toppings are on the bottom of the burger? I don't like it. I don't approve of it. There's a reason why they're called toppings. They're not called bottomings or anything like that. The toppings belong on the top of the burger. You have your lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles up here, your cheese, and then your burger right down here. They're the patty right down here. That's how it works. It's tried and true. The method it's for hundreds of years. That's how people have been eating burgers. But now foodie culture is telling us, oh no, it all belongs on the bottom of the burger now. Yeah, you've been doing it wrong this entire time. And yeah, so that's one thing that just really irritates me and really gets under my skin is this whole idea that the toppings go on the bottom of the burger. Drives me crazy whenever I go anywhere, and then that's how they serve my burger. Drives me insane. And then the next thing too is buns. How many times have you gone out for a burger and then they tell you that on the menu you see that it's served on brioche, it's served on a pretzel roll, it's served on a potato roll, it's served with a lettuce wrap. Whatever happened to a bun? I'm tired of going to places for a burger and they tell me that we serve this on a brioche roll. Okay, brioche roll. It's good maybe the first couple times that I've had it, but it's too sweet to be on a burger. It doesn't belong on a burger. It's too sweet. Same with the potato roll. Believe it or not, potato roll, first couple times you have it, you're like, yeah, isn't that bad. You know what? Not terrible. But then the potato roll, too sweet. Same with like with the brioche roll, too sweet. And then you go somewhere else and they're like, we serve our burgers on a pretzel roll. Okay, pretzel roll, too dense and too heavy for a burger. Not at all. Too dense, too heavy. And then there are also other things like the lettuce wrap. Like, why are you even going out for a burger if you need to eat it with a lettuce wrap? I mean, seriously. And then the gluten-free roll. It's like again this whole thing with modern allergies, nut allergies, whatever. You know, allergies that didn't even exist 20 years ago. Now suddenly, suddenly the gluten-free roll. Whatever happened to a bun? Just a bun. That's all. It wasn't even called a roll. It's a bun. And then if it's fancy, it has sesame seeds on it. And I never really understood too the whole purpose behind the sesame seeds on the bun because you don't really. I've never noticed any difference in the taste. I think the only thing they do is get stuck in between your teeth. It's the sesame seed bun, but hey, it's a bun. Good enough for me. But yeah, the breads. I've seen French bread, Italian bread, just anything that foodie culture can try to market and try to sell us on something is how they're trying to market burgers these days, and I'm really tired of it. It's getting more and more difficult to just find an all American cheeseburger with lettuce, tomato, onion, pickles, ketchup, mustard on a bun. That's it. That's all you need. They have all these toppings too. Like I've seen these insane toppings like kimchi. I've seen peanut butter. I've seen goat cheese. That's a good one. Yeah, goat cheese on a bun. Deep fried pepperdew peppers. All of these different things. I have gone to a place to get a burger and they don't have a regular cheeseburger on the menu. Like it's not possible to order just a regular cheeseburger under the roof of that place because they want to discourage that. They're like, no, we don't approve of what a cheeseburger is. Instead, you're going to eat our interpretation of the cheeseburger. That's sucky and cost $25. Yeah, that's another thing too. Going out for a foodie cheeseburger and walking away spending $40 on a beer and a burger with fries. Yeah. And then also the other thing too about foodie culture that's really annoying me and the way the trickle down effect that this has had with burgers is cheese. I've been to burger places recently that don't even have American cheese. American cheese isn't available under the roof. Sure, they'll have cheddar cheese, Swiss cheese, goat cheese, feta cheese, all of these different types of cheeses, but no American cheese. Why is that? American cheese is the best cheese. It's perfect. It's melty, it tastes good, it's patriotic. You're doing your duty. Every time every bite of American cheese, I feel like I'm honoring the troops who've sacrificed their lives fighting for our rights to consume American cheese. American cheese is it's the overlooked cheese. I feel like I prefer to call it the United States of America cheese because it's that patriotic. Why is it that they've never you can't go to a store and get shredded American cheese, or you can't get uh why is it no one's ever put American cheese on a pizza? I mean, on a pizza, they've put all kinds of cheeses. I mean, of course, mozzarella and provolone. Those are the staples on a pizza. But I've seen cheddar cheese, fontina cheese, Parmesan cheese, of course, Asiago, all of these different types of cheeses. But why is it no one's ever put American cheese on a pizza? You could go to the store and get the big brick of Velveeta cheese, but no one's ever told us that that's American cheese. They don't. It's processed cheese product. I don't know what that means exactly, but there's nothing saying that this is American cheese. Mac and cheese, yeah, yeah. So right here we have Danny in the chat. Mac and cheese burger. You, you know what? There's a point where I've seen that on a menu before of a place selling macaroni, a burger with mac and cheese on it. Get the mac and cheese on the side, because then I think you'll appreciate the mac and cheese more when it's on the side than when it's squished down on the burger. And the place that you're probably getting that burger at, they're probably putting it on the bottom of the burger. Yeah, see, he's saying it was okay, and he's saying that in quotes too. So he's like, it was okay, but it probably also cost you $22 to get a scoop of mac and cheese that cost 16 cents to make. Um, but yeah, it's I'm really tired of this whole reinventing the burger. Why is it you've never seen a wheel of American cheese? Like the cheese shop that opens up in your neighborhood. That's when your neighborhood is gentrified, when the cheese shop opens up. And there's the cheese shop on the corner that used to be a bodega or a cell phone place, and now it's a cheese shop. And they have the big wheel of cheese. Why is it there's never been a big wheel of American cheese? Someone explain that to me, please. I mean, we sell enough American cheese in this country. There should be some wheels of American cheese around there somewhere. And I'm talking American cheese of all types too, like singles that are individually wrapped. I think those are the special ones. It's kind of like we want to protect each slice of American cheese by wrapping it carefully in its own. They have little people on the assembly line who take the one slice of cheese, and then they individually, caringly and lovingly wrap it and then seal it, so that way it's perfect. It's sealed when you get the American cheese. American cheese of all kind. It's all wonderful, and anyone who doesn't agree with me is wrong. American cheese is the best cheese. What do we have? We have Casey Turner here. Potato roll. Come on, they aren't terrible. You know what? Potato rolls are good, but after a while, it's a little too sweet. It really is. You can smell the sugar. It's a little too sweet. I just need a bun. I don't even need anything called a roll. I just need a bun. Give me a bun. I'm a bun guy, you know? What do we have here? Is this live stream brought to us by Yelp? No. Yelp would never ever publish any of my reviews. Not at all. What do we have here? did have a 65-day dry aged burger this year. It was a Foodie burger, I guess. Well, was it good? I mean, 65-day dry aged. I don't know. I'm used to the type of burger where they pull the patty out of the freezer and throw it on a grill. 65-day dry aged burger. Well, what are your thoughts on that though? It was amazing. Okay. All right. Well, but still, what toppings did you have on the burger? That, I mean, did you go crazy and get all these weird toppings like kimchi and peanut butter or fig jam or goat cheese or something like that? I think a lot of times the toppings play a more important role. I mean, one thing that does annoy me that I really kind of pay attention to are places that brag about our burgers are amazing, they're the best ever, and then you go there, it's just a frozen, like, standard restaurant issue patty that they pull out of the freezer and throw it on a grill. That's something I don't like. I don't like when they mislead you when in their menu just has stock footage, like the photos of burgers are all just from a stock photo library, like Getty Images, of just all these juicy, delicious looking burgers. But then the burger that they serve you was just something that they bought from the same, restaurant supply distro that 80% of all other restaurants get all the same food from, and then they pull the burger patty out of the freezer and throw it on a grill and then charge you $22 for that. It's one thing. I like the places that have the fresh burger that's never been frozen. It's something that I pay attention to nowadays. That's not foodie culture though. That's not foodie. That's just having good taste, because there is a difference in a frozen patty never tastes as fresh as a fresh patty, I guess. Um, it was on the menu, so I had to try it. Yeah, all right. A burger that's been around for ages, and maybe this was the beginning of the Foodie burger, the mushroom and Swiss burger. The mushroom and Swiss burger, it's been on menus for years, for as long as I can remember. I've never been a fan really. Swiss, I have mixed feelings about Swiss cheese, because Swiss cheese, it's not melty, and I feel like with a burger you want a melty cheese to go with it. But the mushroom and Swiss burger, what I think was like the first attempt at trying to recreate what a burger could be. I've never known anyone who's ever liked a mushroom and Swiss burger. I've seen it, and I remember going back, back in the day, to TGI Fridays and Bennigan's and all of those type of places, and they always had a mushroom and Swiss burger on the menu. I don't know a single person who ever ate it. I don't know a single person who's ever been thinking, whoever was ever like, "Ooh, I could go for a mushroom and Swiss burger right now. That would be really good." I don't know. I mean, like mushrooms. I mean, I'm sort of like, mushrooms. They're okay on pizza, I guess. Sometimes I don't know. I'm not a fan. I don't like mushrooms, but I also don't hate mushrooms. But then the idea of having the mushroom and Swiss burger, not anything that I've ever had a taste for at all. Then people started putting bacon on burgers. Like a bacon cheeseburger is pretty good. But there's also, I don't know. I feel like eating meat on top of meat just is bad. It's just, like the original cheeseburger didn't have bacon on it. At some point, people were like, well, let's put some bacon on this, because there are those people out there who just will eat bacon on anything. Like they'll put bacon in a beer, they'll eat bacon on a birthday cake, they'll fry up bacon and serve it to like, oh, kids going to school. Well, here, take some bacon and eat this on the bus. Like there are those people who eat bacon for every meal. I've never been that type of person. Um, I try to limit the amount of fried fat that I eat. Um, but yeah, bacon on a burger, it's good. It's good. Not something I like all the time, but it's all right. It's all right. I will say that. It's I like bacon on my Canadian bacon. Yeah, see, stacking bacon on top of bacon sounds like, at some point when you get a little older, that's going to catch up. The doctor's going to tell you you should stop eating bacon on top of bacon. What was it? Okay. So had minimal toppings. So this is your 65-day dry age burger. Toppings: pickles, pimento cheese, caramelized onions. All right. Okay, so pimento cheese on a burger is really damn good. It really is. And it's something that you can find in the South, but you can't find up in the North. I've been to plenty of burger places around here in Chicago. Not a single place has pimento cheese on the menu. But pimento cheese on a burger with onions and spicy pickles, that's really good. That is really good. Not a single place around here has that. But in the South, you can get pimento cheese and put that on your burger, and you cannot go wrong with that. That's really good stuff. Neighbors have a bacon fest a few times a year. They're right. They have a bacon fest. Like, they hang up the banners, and they have a band come and play, like a mariachi band, and then the kids are all running around wearing little bacon costumes. Like, yeah, look at me, I'm a piece of bacon. Um, why isn't sausage a burger topping? Oh, sausage is a burger topping. There are a couple places here in Chicago that offer a sausage as a topping on top of a burger. Now, when you get into that type of dining, that's where it's advised to have an ambulance outside of the place for when you have a heart attack. Having a sausage on top of a burger, or having fried onions with a sausage on top of a burger that is covered in a fried egg, is one of those things. Like, make sure you have some heart medicine ready, and make sure that there's an ambulance outside waiting for you when your heart attack starts to kick in, because it's a little too much. But that's the thing too. This is where we're overcomplicating what a burger is. Like, still, no matter what anybody tells you, lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles, American cheese, ketchup, mustard, that's a burger on a bun, not on a roll, on a bun. Maybe mayonnaise. Maybe mayonnaise. Then over time, I kind of like, swapping out the mustard and just having ketchup and mayo on the burger, or spicy mustard with horseradish in it is also really good. But yeah, it's when we start topping it with a fried sausage and deep fried bacon and fried onions, and everything like that is where I feel like, okay, we're this isn't a burger anymore. Kind of like how people claim that Chicago style deep dish pizza isn't pizza, it's a casserole. And in a way, I'm like, well, Chicago style deep dish is really good. I really like it. I don't eat it that often, but it's good. But also at the same time too, it's not the type of pizza that you can go and just pick up and just eat a slice while you like like, I in New York, you can grab a slice, fold it in half, and just eat it on the subway. You can't do that with a slice of Giordano's. Not at all. Here in Chicago, it's even the pizza that's tavern style isn't something that you can just pick up and just eat on the go, which I appreciate that in a way because we're treating it like a meal and not just a convenience. In New York, they have the slice. You fold it in half and eat it while you're on the subway or whatever. Most Chicago pizza, you can't even do that. As a matter of fact, I really can't think of any Chicago style pizza that you can just pick up and just eat on the go. You definitely can't do that with any of the deep dish, not at all. But even the tavern style, because the way that they cut pizza out here, it's weird. It's all of the slices. It's like they slice pizza on a grid. Everything's rectangular, and so all of your slices are square. You have the outer perimeter where you have some crust that you can hang on to, but you're going to eat through it pretty quickly. But then you have all the inside slices where, okay, it starts to get a little weird because you're going to have all the cheese and everything oozing over on it. And you just can't, pick that up and just eat it on the go. Yeah. So I don't know. It's complimentary life alert buttons for regular patrons of good burger joints. Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, some of the burgers that I see around here, I never was into the whole fried egg on a burger. I know there are people who really like that where you pierce the yolk and then the yolk drips out and they're like, "Oh, this is so good. I love it." I've never been I've never liked that at all. They're also the same type of people who drink Bloody Marys. I think Bloody Marys are disgusting. I don't understand, but there are those people. I don't know, and we all have different tastes, but still, foodie culture is ruining what it means to eat a burger. Half of the places that I go out to get a burger, you can't just get a burger. It's something on a fancy roll with 18 different options for toppings, but the basic toppings aren't even on the menu. That's what I'm tired of. I'm tired of that. Anyways, where are we at here? Okay. It is okay, so that's my 35-minute rant about burgers. What do I have coming up here? I'm going to have some more ranting about burgers and food. Well, I mean, yeah, burgers, foodie culture. I have a lot more to go on. Trust me, like my ranting about foodie culture will end up being a Ken Burns documentary at some point, like an 18-volume Ken Burns documentary that you'll see on PBS one day, where it'll be like an entire week of just me complaining about foodie culture and how it's ruining just the basic food that we all love and enjoy, and it's like truffles. I'll wait and get into that later about truffle sauce and things like that. But all right, so what do I have coming up this week? I'm doing stand up a couple nights this week. Been working on a little bit of new material, stuff about getting old. And things like that. So hopefully I'll have some stand up recorded and I'll get some of that online. I have a stand up clip that I am going to post probably in the next day or so. That's pretty recent. And also, yeah, one thing that I forgot to mention right here, professional.complainer.rants@gmail. If you have any ideas for topics that you would like me to complain about, shoot me an email at that address. And I can, I was raised by one of the best. I can complain about anything. So send me your ideas and I'll prepare a rant and I'll complain about whatever it is that you send to me. Let's keep it classy. All right. Yes, send me some complaining. Send me some topics to complain about, but not all topics. All right. So yeah. Okay. What else do we have here? All right, we have Scott in the chat. I'm all for complaining about young hipsters. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, let's save the hipsters for another night because there aren't enough hours in the day right now. I'm already wrapping up 35 minutes of ranting about burgers. Um, Hipster ranting. Trust me. Tune in, and I'll have some good some good ranting and complaining about hipsters. Yeah, it's there's just so much to cover. So much. Oh my god, so much to cover. Anyways, everyone who tuned in, thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, Depeche Commode, please do. I'm thinking I might be changing the name because Depeche Commode was focused sort of just on music, but I'm making the channel more broad about comedy and stuff. But I still like the name Depeche Commode, so I don't know. Anyways, I'm not going to change the channel. I'll just change the name of the channel. But yeah, anyone, yeah, please subscribe, uh, give it a like, and thank you for watching. And tune in next week.